These are Samantha's swimsuit, and it's been hanging here, and I just can't put it away.
A swimsuit hanging lifeless since November 2009, when Michelle Johnson's only daughter took her own life.
Just see your child laying there lifeless and not know why.
What she would learn is that her 13-year-old's world had become unbearable.
We believe that she was just hiding from everybody because she was feeling hopeless. Samantha was kind of a tomboy, and she was perceived as gay.
Was she gay?
No, we don't think she was gay. She was 13.
Samantha was the first of 7 students to commit suicide in a single Minnesota school district in less than 2 years. Parents and friends tell us 4 of those teens were either gay, perceived to be gay, or questioning their sexuality, and at least 2 of them were bullied over it. We're about 30 minutes outside of Minneapolis in Anoka-Hennepin. This is the biggest school district in the entire state, but the reason we're here is because it has become a battleground over homosexuality in the classroom. The district has a controversial curriculum policy that says staff must remain neutral on matters of sexual orientation. It's ignited a culture war, one that's playing out in school board meetings.
The homosexual lifestyle is a social controversial issue that should be addressed in the homes and not the schools.
These children are human beings. We're allowing these kids to be treated as second-class citizens.
Allegations of bullying have brought unwanted media attention, and CNN has learned a federal investigation to this quiet suburban community.
A student threw me up against a wall or lockers and screamed "fag" at me.
Mike Thurston, an 8th grader at Anoka Middle School, isn't gay, but he's the president of his school's Gay-Straight Alliance.
A student, for whatever reason, came up to me during social studies and said, "So how big was it in your mouth last night?"
The bullying made school a daily battle for kids like Mike and Samantha. Erica Hoops was Samantha's best friend.
Yeah, she didn't feel safe anywhere. During volleyball, they would call her names like fag and be like, "Go over to the boys' locker room. You shouldn't be in here."
Did any adults see this?
Yeah, but they didn't ever do anything. I was in the locker room at one point when she was getting harassed, and the coach was looking at it first, but she didn't stop it anyway.
Samantha's mother, Michelle, didn't learn about the bullying until she showed up one day at volleyball practice.
And the coach said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I'm Samantha Johnson's mother, and where is she?" And she said, "Oh, I haven't seen Samantha in weeks." And I thought, what? How can that be? She's taking the late bus home. So she said, "Well, I know that there's a couple girls that are being very mean to her."
So the coach knew she was being bullied.
Right.
Had she ever told you that before you came down to practice?
No.
Did you see anyone bullying Samantha? The district requires staff to report all bullying. We reached out to Samantha's coach.
There was issues everywhere in her life and her situation, and they were addressed to the best of the ability, and I don't have anything else to say.
Samantha never made it to another volleyball practice. Just like Justin Aaberg didn't make it to his 16th birthday. Justin was gay.
And this one girl told the whole school.
His friend Brandy says the bullying began shortly after Justin was outed in the 8th grade.
He told me somebody had grabbed his balls and said, "You like that." And then eventually this counselor noticed something was wrong, and she ran up behind.
Justin's mother, Tammy Aaberg, says she was never contacted about the incident. And then, just months before taking his life,
he came to me and said, "Mom, a kid at school said I was going to go to hell because I'm gay."
Can you say without a doubt that Justin's suicide was connected to the bullying?
Yes, I believe it was connected. Do I know what the last thing was that happened that made him make the final act? No, I don't know what it was.
We will never know what drove Samantha and Justin to take their lives. But here's what we do know. In a school newsletter and in a voicemail to staff, Superintendent Dennis Carlson denies any connection between bullying and the suicides.
Based on all of the information we've been able to gather, none of the suicides were connected to incidents of bullying or harassment.
A statement that angered family and friends.
I just kept thinking liar, 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 because there's totally a connection.
Was the bullying part of the reason you think, Erica, that your best friend killed herself?
Most definitely, there's no question about it.
Did the school district talk to you after Samantha committed suicide?
I never once got talked to.
What bothered me most is nobody asked us.
We have dozens of people looking into each one of those suicides. They talk to as many people as they can surrounding that suicide.
We asked Superintendent Carlson why no one talked to Samantha's mother or her best friend.
They feel like, Dennis, an investigation, a review wasn't done.
We did not do a formal investigation. We would only do a formal investigation if there was some indication that there was need for that.
Why wouldn't there be a need for that when you have kids killing themselves?
There needs to be some evidence that bullying harassment was a part of their life in that school. I cannot emphasize enough, kids need to come forward to the adults in the building and say we're being bullied. If they do not, there isn't much we can do.
I am the mother of Samantha Johnson, who was a student at Fred Moore.
After his public statement, Michelle emailed the superintendent saying she had talked to the volleyball coach, the vice principal, and the counselor about Samantha's bullying. Carlson insists the district followed up with those staff members, but could not release the records, citing privacy concerns. He says Michelle now refuses to speak with them.
If I can't trust the school when Samantha was alive, then I don't know why I can trust him now.
When we come back, one teacher who wants to take on the district.
Are you afraid that you could lose your job just being here talking about this?
Realistically, yeah.
It's 9 o'clock on a typical school night.
I just got a text from a young lady.
And Anoka Middle School teacher Jefferson Fitek is in crisis mode.
It looks like she's got a friend who's in crisis and thinking about suicide.
Just now?
Just now, yeah.
How often does this happen?
It's about once a week, sometimes more.
It turns out to be just one scare of many.
Just this morning, I had another kid hospitalized. Last week, I had another kid hospitalized. This
For
kid
what?
For getting so overwhelmed that suicide seems the only way out.
Fitek is openly gay, and he's the advisor for his school's Gay Straight Alliance. He says suicidal feelings are common among gay youth and those questioning their sexuality. In fact, studies since the 1990s consistently show gay and lesbian youth have suicide attempt rates at least twice that of their heterosexual peers. Fitek's school district, Anoka-Hennepin, has been hard hit. The question is, what role does school climate really play?
We need an answer to this question.
This is the only Minnesota school district we could find with a curriculum policy that bars teachers from taking a position on homosexuality and says such matters are best addressed outside of school. It's become known as the neutrality policy, and some teachers say it's part of the problem.
Because there's so much we can't do and say to help create a more accepting and affirming and welcoming environment that would eliminate some of that bullying in the first place.
It's a censorship policy. It's censorship. There's nothing neutral about taking the side of the oppressor.
It seems like you're saying this is contributing to leading these kids to the brink.
It is contributing to creating a hostile, toxic environment.
But Superintendent Dennis Carlson says the district has a comprehensive bullying policy and has piloted a bullying tip line. He says the neutrality policy is a reasonable response to a divided community.
It's a diverse community, and what I try to do as superintendent is walk down the middle of the road.
Hey, if they're going to hell,
I'm going with them. So.
A middle-of-the-road approach that's pitting parents against parents.
Sir, a policy.
Sir,
this is your policy.
You're out of line.
You are in line too, sir.
I mean, this idea of check your identity at the door, would you tolerate that? We are not advocating that we teach homosexuality, that we teach anything other than tolerance.
They don't need to be promoting a particular point of view on that. Parents have a right to raise their children the way they want to, and the school district doesn't need to be sitting there telling kids your parents are wrong.
And I know you're in support of the sexual orientation policy, and I'm just hoping you'll tell me why.
Some local conservative parents have banded together, forming the Parents Action League. We tried multiple times to talk to them.
Do you mind taking a minute and just sitting down with me?
No further comment.
On their website, they push for parents' rights and for schools to focus on core academics. In a recent letter to the local newspaper, one active community member wrote, "It is irresponsible for educators to promote the 'it's okay to be gay' message to students when homosexuality is such a high-risk behavior." Now the fight has gone federal. CNN has confirmed the Departments of Justice and Education are investigating the district after receiving a complaint regarding allegations of harassment and discrimination based on sex.
This policy sends kids the message that who they are is not okay.
And advocacy groups, the Southern Poverty Law Center and the National Center for Lesbian Rights have filed a lawsuit challenging the neutrality policy. The SPLC was present for CNN interviews involving its clients. In response to the lawsuit, the district says they are confident that they are complying with the law and that the policies, practices, and procedures in place ensure the safety of students. The district also says it takes, quote, strong exception to the outrageous media statements. The district is not concerned about the safety of its students, and it has asked the advocacy groups to help train its staff in supporting gay students. But Superintendent Carlson stands by the neutrality policy. Still, he knows there's a problem.
We need students to speak up and say, I'm being bullied. We know that gay students in our district on a daily basis struggle with bullying and harassment.
If you doubt that, just listen to these kids from Anoka Middle School's Gay Straight Alliance. Many aren't gay.
Since gay is in the name of the club, it's like, oh, you're automatically that, and we're not everyone who goes there is, so.
But just being in the club can make them a target.
Raise your hand if you've been bullied in the last month. Last week? What about today? How does hearing these words, you're gay, you're a fag, you're different, how does this make you guys feel?
It like picks at you every day. It like gets a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like a wound that won't heal.
Why'd you decide to join the Gay Straight Alliance?
It's just a safe place to be, where no one will judge you for who you are.
The battle over the neutrality policy is the adults' fight. The kids just want to be safe, and they don't want any more of their friends, like Samantha Johnson, to die.
I was sick of everything. I missed your grandpa.
Sick of what?
The bullying.